Hey everyone, welcome to this second video of server actions. So in the last video, we have worked with a button and just click on the button and we invoked a function which was in server. So where we haven't created any API, but directly we called that function in the button component, and that function was the server component. Server action. So we learned about the server actions, how to use server actions and how to get data back from the server actions, where we learned that we do not have to create any kind of API manually. Instead, Next.js will create API for you. Just use server actions and it will pass the data to that function, and then that function will be run on the server. So in this video, we will see that how you can submit a form, without using any API, without creating manually any API, right? So you will directly attach a function with the form. You will click on the submit button of the form, and then form will be submitted to the server, and behind the scene a function which we will register with the form that will be invoked. So it is really easy to work with forms with Next.js. So let's see how it works. Currently it is in experimental mode, so whether in future it will be in a stable mode, then you can use it. So let's see how it works. So the same whatever we did with the button, the same thing you have to do with the forms. Okay, so let's create form. So if you are directly watching this video, you haven't watched the previous video of server actions. So let me repeat it, that I enabled server actions in experimental mode. Experimental server action is equals true, so that I can use the experimental feature in this project. Okay, now I have a folder called actions, where I'm creating all the server actions. This file I have marked use server, so that Next.js will ensure that this file will be used only in server. It will not be part of client bundle. Okay, this file will not be run. This function will not be called in the client side. It will be called on the server side only. Okay, so let's see how it works. So I'll go to the page. The same I created the button component. I will create another component called form. So let's create a form inside components folder. I'm creating a folder called login form form.js. Login form, just login form, because this is a folder. Inside this folder I will create another function, basically function component, login form.tsx or jsx. Okay, now this component will be client component, so I'm writing use client component. Now React function component, I created a component login form. Okay, let's add this login form in our page. After the hr, I'm adding login form like this. Okay, this is the login form. Let's create a form, basic form, where I will simply add h1 login form. I will add a input field of type email, and let's name it email. So whenever we submit a form, that name should be there, so that our form data will have key value pair name and value of that email. So name will be email, so email is equals to value. And the same we will add a password field, so password, value of the password. So type will be password for the password field. I'm creating a login form, basic login form, and then I will create input field where I will write submit, type submit, and there will be no name. Okay, so I created a submit button. Now I will wrap all the fields in a form like this. Now what you need to do here, when you submit a form, you do not have to reload the page, right? Instead reloading the page, you have to call a API. You want to call a API to the server, and then server will process that request and return response back. How we can do it? So instead of action, we will pass in place of this URL in the action, we will pass a function. That function will be server action, right? So I'll go to the server action, where I have created sample actions.js. I will create a function. So let's copy this function like this and name it login action. Okay, now whenever you submit a form, you will get form data in login action. So I will name it form data. This will be type of form data. Sorry, type of form data, and simply let's log it. Let's log the form data and return some message. That message will be login success. Okay, login success. Now let's add this login action in the form. So I go to the form, in place of action, pass that function login action like this. That's it. We are ready to work with forms. Let's see. Now I will submit this, and now you can see that we are getting form data at the server action. Okay, So this console is from the server side console, and this is the client side console. There is no log of the form data. This form data is logging at the server console. It means that function, whatever function we have attached with the form, that function is calling at the server, and we are printing form data. How to get the data from this form data? So we can call object dot from entries, and form data is the entry object, right? From entries we are creating an object. Let's submit it again, and now we are getting Action ID. Internal Next.js is using Action ID, and we have email and we have password. So this is how we can read form data in server, directly attaching this form with the action attribute. Okay, action is equals to pass a function. This function should be server action, and that server action will be called whenever you submit a form. That's it. This is how easy working with forms. That's it for this video. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please like the video, comment your question, comment your feedback, subscribe the channel, and see you in the next video.